Slight tilt in axis suggests a spaceship. Or a space station. In orbit around a larger... No! This is an outrage.
Greetings, Doctor.
Madam Inquisitor, I protest.
Frequently, yes.
But he's me. A future version of me. Are you telling me that the Time Lords revisited their own time stream and rewrote the law?
Recorders, delete that last section of transcript. Doctor, compose yourself.
He's either a future version of me or he's something else.
Doctor, we meet again.
Hi everyone, TARDIS Guy 123 here, and today I have with me TJ Productions. Say hello.
Hello, TJ Productions here.
And today we are going to be overviewing the 6th Doctor as part of Big Finish week. So, 6th Doctor Colin Baker is sort of like the Doctor who went into Big Finish with the most to prove, I'd say. So,
yeah.
Because he wasn't treated very well on TV. He was moderately well received. I wouldn't say he was hated, but there are some sides of fandom who would find him a bit abrasive, I'd say. And, Big Finish really allowed him to mellow out.
Yeah, the 6th Doctor. Yeah, I do find his ear, it's unnecessary with the hate, because it does get a lot of hate. He is the Doctor with the most hate, but I honestly respect his TV series, or his era of Doctor Who. I find them gems, but in Big Finish, they've done the Doctor so well, because Colin Baker's always delivered a brilliant performance, no doubt, but the writing is pretty much where the weak spot was, and now we've got brilliant writers like John Dorney, Jonathan Morris, Mark Platt, etc., who are just talented writers, and of course with Colin Baker's brilliant performance adds fantastic writing. You just have a brilliant story right there.
And it might help that on audio you can't see the coat.
No.
Yeah, so starting off with 6th Doctor right at the start with Sirens of Time, what would you say about his performance in that?
Well, Colin Baker's performance, out of all the Doctors, because the 7th Doctor and the 5th Doctor felt a little bit nervous, I would say, especially the 7th Doctor. The 5th Doctor felt a little bit bored in the role in that, but the 6th Doctor went it with huge enthusiasm, seemed like he really enjoyed the story, but Sirens of Time as a story, it doesn't really explain its cliffhangers, and a lot of people don't really like the story. I personally think it's okay, but it doesn't really get explained very well, especially those cliffhangers. They don't get resolved.
Yeah, and I think 6th Doctor might have the most warmth to him out of those three at least. He's sort of got much more engaging nature about him, and his first proper release was Whispers of Terror, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was his first one.
I think his performance was different in that when he didn't have the other Doctors around.
Sorry, say that again?
Do you think his performance was different in that when he didn't have the other two Doctors around?
No, actually I think his performance is just the same, to be honest. Again, extremely enthusiastic, and yeah, I would say his performance from the start, for his early ones, are all pretty much the same, I would say, not really any difference.
Good. And what would you say about Whispers of Terror itself as a story?
Now, Big Finish were just getting ready, but the sound design in this story is pretty superior, because the villain in this story is like a sound monster or something like that in a museum. A very interesting story. It sounds really good on paper, but when it was executed, I would say it's not the best, but a lot of people do say it's a really good story, so maybe it's just not one which delivers my taste, but it's a good story. It is. Around about 6 out of 10.
I've heard quite a few people say it's a story that can only really be told on audio, so that can't really be done visually too well.
Yeah.
And then skipping forward a bit, we have the introduction of Evelyn Smythe in the Marion Conspiracy. What would you say about Evelyn?
Evelyn is actually my favourite Big Finish companion. Works so well with the 6th Doctor. I recommend anybody to get a 6th Doctor and Evelyn story. All of them absolutely brilliant. Had not had a dud from them. Characterization for Evelyn has always been top notch for all the stories I got so far. They just have brilliant chemistry, and you can see that straight away. The Marian Conspiracy is a good story by Jacqueline Rayner. Yeah, it's a good historical story. I usually get put off by historical stories because they are a bit of a bore sometimes, but Marian Conspiracy, I honestly think it's a gem. One of the best early Big Finish audios from 1 to 50 so far.
And I've also kind of heard that Evelyn sort of like keeps the Sixth Doctor in check in a lot of ways because she's a much older companion, older than the norm. She sort of like tells the Sixth Doctor off in a way that younger companions probably couldn't. Does that ring true?
Well, she can say whatever she wants to without feeling nerves, so something like that.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Well, yeah, I would say that. Yeah, in one of the stories, I would say well, we haven't got to it yet, but Project Lazarus is where their relationship's on a bit of an edgy level. But I could definitely see where you're coming from that, because it's very big in that story.
And then what about Mel? What are your thoughts on Mel on audio, especially with the Sixth Doctor?
Mel's a lot more tolerable. I know in the season 24 Trial of the Time Lord, the TV series, I can't stand her, to be honest, but a lot more better in Big Finish. I actually haven't heard her scream in a Big Finish audio, so that's definitely a good sign. Yeah, Mel honestly is pretty good.
Yeah, her screams are rather annoying on TV.
Yeah, thankfully Big Finish don't write that in their stories.
Yeah. I haven't actually heard any with Melon. I've heard some 7th Doctor ones with Melon, but I haven't heard any 6th Doctor ones with Melon yet, so...
Right.
And then, do you want to skip forward to... Flip, I think? Is that the next companion? I don't think I've missed out on anyone.
Sorry, name the companion again?
Flip.
Oh, Philippa Jackson.
Yeah.
I haven't got a lot of stories for her. I've only listened to Curse of Davros, so I can't really put heads and tails on her yet, but she's a good companion. Sometimes she doesn't really have common knowledge or common sense, but sometimes she can be a little bit silly, but still in some scenes as well, she could be... Well, she could take risky moves, really, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say she's very much a risk taker in a lot of ways, and dives right in headfirst without thinking too much beforehand. And I think it was Colin Baker actually himself who compared her to Leela in a lot of ways. I can kind of see where he's coming from a bit, although...
Well, yeah, because Leela's a savage, not really intelligent. I would say the same with Flip a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see the comparison. Yeah.
I quite like Flip, to be honest. I think she works very well with the Sixth Doctor in the stories that I've heard from her, and I think her jumping right in nature really does go well with the Sixth Doctor. And it's very much a father and daughter relationship between them two. And in fact, in one story, We're in Isle, Flip does get mistaken for the Doctor's daughter, and there are quite a few funny scenes with that idea going on.
Right.
And I think that's all of the Sixth Doctor's companions. No, Charlie, that's the one we missed.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Charlie with the Sixth Doctor? Do you think she works better with the 8th, or...?
Well, the chemistry with the 8th and Charlie is pretty huge, especially in something like Scherzo. That's something that really tests their relationship. But I would prefer Charlie with the 8th Doctor more, because I've got more 8th Doctor and Charlie stories. I've only got one 6th Doctor and Charlie story, which is Patient Zero, which that starts off a trilogy. So I would say it's a bit unfair to make a decision yet, but still I can see some good stuff with, say, Charlie. But I'm still gonna say that 8th Doctor and Charlie is better.
Okay. And she was very much the 8th Doctor's first companion, so there's a bit of definitiveness going on there in a way.
Yeah.
And then moving on to the Lost Stories, which I think is your favourite range, isn't it?
Yes, it is my favourite range.
How do you think the Sixth Doctor fares in that? Because he's sort of like the main Doctor of the Lost Stories, especially towards the start of it.
Again, brings a cracking performance, and he doesn't really play his stubbornness like in the TV series again. I thought it was going to be like that, as these were going to be TV stories, but still plays the very calm side to the Sixth Doctor, just like the monthly range show. I was sort of expecting he would be playing more of a stubborn, brutish way of the Sixth Doctor, but no, he wasn't. But all the stories I've listened to so far with the Sixth Doctor have been absolutely incredible.
Oh, good. And then going back again to Perry in the kind of like older Perry dynamic with Widow's Assassin, Masters of Earth, and the Rani Elite. What would you say about that dynamic? How it differs from their original dynamic?
All these three stories really do test the Sixth Doctor and Perry's relationship, because something happens with Widow's Assassin, and it's some of the most beautiful writing ever by Nev Fountain. It's great, and there's some little moments of Masters of Earth as well, which feel like that, testing their relationships and the Rani Elite. So yeah, it's definitely more of a, say, character relationship in that series, or that trilogy, sorry.
And Perry really does have a lot happen to her in those stories. I won't go into detail, obviously. There is quite heavy stuff that happens to her, one thing in each story, I'd say.
Yeah, that is very impacting for a character. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And you sort of like see the idea, there's sort of like that now idea of, can the Doctor save Perry? Because obviously this is Perry afterwards, so we don't know her fate. So that's going to be interesting to see them play with that, like they did with the older Nissa story a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to seeing how that turns out, though it doesn't seem like we're going to be getting a continuation of that for a while now, with 2 constant trilogies coming up.
Yeah, I don't think so. They're going to be... Think of it like the Ace and Hex thing. That was quite a long break, so when Hex departed, so I think it'd be a long break for the Sixth Doctor and Perry.
Yeah, and then we'll talk about Constance in a bit when we get onto the future releases, but before we take a break and talk about our favourite stories, is there anything you'd like to add about the Sixth Doctor as a whole?
Well, for the Sixth Doctor, the Big Finish had just turned him around. He's just... A load of new audiences are just loving the Sixth Doctor, because he, has a very small TV era, just a couple of stories, and it's a shame he didn't get another extra season, because I would have loved that, I would.
Yeah.
But it's just nice for Big Finish have expanded his Doctor, gave him tons of companions, tons of monthly rangers, and of course a very special release coming up, of course, and Lost Stories, and making his unmade Doctor Who stories come back to life. So they've done a lot for the Sixth Doctor, and he is very high on my Doctor's ranking because of Big Finish.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think before I listened to any Big Finish, I sort of like, yeah, I liked the Sixth Doctor, but I couldn't really watch too many of his stories, because 1, there weren't that many anyway, and 2, not all
They
of them
weren't the
were...
best written.
No,
Yeah.
They weren't that good, and yeah, I think so. Big Finish definitely have expanded on that, and I think I've got more Sixth Doctor stories than any other Doctor. No, maybe not the 4th actually, but yeah, I think I've got quite a lot of Sixth Doctor stories compared to some other Doctors. So yeah, I think now we'll take a break, and we'll be back in a second.
Melka, you will advance to the Palace of the Elect. You are to tolerate no resistance. Anyone who attempts to stop you is to be destroyed. Understand?
We understand.
Then go, my bringers of darkness. I, Malador, the new Guardian of Serenity, will see that they pay for the crimes of their ancestors.
Out of my Lost Stories bundle I got from May, this is the one I was most looking forward to. And definitely lived up to my expectations. I absolutely loved it. Even though I'm not a huge fan of The Keeper of Traken, and this is a sequel, it's marvellous, it is. It's very creepy, especially in the first episode. I love it. And has a very good villain in it, which is Malador. I don't want to go too far in this story, because it is one of the best Big Finish audios, in my opinion. Yeah, very good Guardians of Prophecy.
If I were to be captured, and if the Daleks were to examine my memories...
This is the Dalek Supreme!
it's another Dalek one. We Are the Daleks was my favourite 7th Doctor one. Now Masters of Earth is my favourite 6th Doctor one. Which is my favourite between the two? Masters of Earth, most definitely. This is a very, very strong story in my opinion. However, it did come very close. This was a very close decision for me. I almost chose the 4th Wall, because this is also a very strong story. I'd recommend picking up both of them. But anyway, I chose Masters of Earth in the end. Because, well, partly because of my nostalgia and my love for the Dalek invasion of Earth, but also because it's a very strong story as well, and it really grips onto that post-apocalyptic idea that was featured in Dalek invasion of Earth, but not too strongly. This very much focuses on life in that time, what it was like for humans, how hard it was to survive. It's very interesting. It's also the moral dilemma that the Doctor can't change history, not one line, because he's already done that 1 year later. So that's very interesting. It's a very great story written by Mark Wright and Kevin Scott. Colin Baker's performance is really, really strong in this. This was my first 6th Doctor Big Finish story, and I instantly fell in love with this Doctor. From the TV stories, yeah, he was okay, but this is the story that really made me fall in love with the 6th Doctor. So it's got a special place with me for that reason too. But it is a very strong story, and I would highly recommend picking it up. So that is my favourite 6th Doctor story, and why.
And we are back, and now talk about the future releases. So what do you think about what the 6th Doctor's got coming up?
Well, of course, he's got a very exciting release coming up, which is out in September, the 6th Doctor's Last Adventure.
Yeah, that's going to be quite interesting. I think there's actually an article in Doctor Who magazine coming up where he's discussing why it's time for him to regenerate, and he'll probably talk about that during the special features as well. But the story itself, which one's your most anticipated one out of the 4?
Oh, my most anticipated one. Well, I was going to think Jago and Lightfoot one, but I'm just going to say the Constance one, because I yet to hear a companion, so I like to see what she's like first. So yeah, I would say that one. Yeah, by Miranda Racing. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So it's nice to hear her again from Romance of Crime, which was quite a while back in 2015, the first month. So it's nice to hear her back as a companion, which is great. I would say, I'm going to lead towards Jago and Lightfoot because they're both brilliant.
Yeah, and that one's Stage Fright, I think it's called, and I quite like the idea of that. In the synopsis it mentions sort of like different stage acts with who resemble different Doctors in a way, so that'd be quite interesting to see. And that's also got Flip in it, so it's going to be nice to hear more from her.
Oh, the Flip story has got Jago and Lightfoot in.
Yeah, that's the...
Oh, right.
Yeah, and there's also... I'm wondering how it's going to work out with Constance as well. Probably Crisscross is going to come out before the 6th Doctor Last Adventure, I think.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
Because then we get introduced to her companion, then have her in another story here, and then her trilogy continues on. I'm not sure whether it will be set after her trilogy or sort of like right when it's released, but yeah, I'll have to see about that.
Yes.
And then let's move on to the trilogy now itself. What are you thinking of Crisscross, Planet of the Rani, and Shield of Durjutun?
I'm looking forward to all of them, especially the last one, because I believe it's a brand new writer. Fresh blood. I always like brand new writers coming into Big Finish, which is great.
I think it is.
Yeah, that is it. So yeah, it's nice to have a brand new writer. I always be optimistic about new writers. I said they're going to produce a great story. It's always nice to have a brand new writer. And Crisscross by Matt Fitton. Now, again, not one of my favourite writers ever. I'm still looking forward to that one. I'm actually looking forward to all of them, and Planet of the Rani, which is Mark Platt, if I'm right. Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. Mark Platt, he does pretty much good all around, so I'm looking forward to all 3 of them. They all look pretty... Yeah, I'm not anticipated for all of them, but if I would choose one, I would choose the last one.
Ah, good. And my thoughts would probably be that I'm quite looking forward to Crisscross, actually. That's probably my most anticipated, mainly because I'm quite a big World War II buff in a way. I kind of like that period of history, and I've also visited Bletchley Park a couple of times where it's set, and I just like that whole codebreaker thing. So I'm quite interested in seeing how that turns out, and also to have a codebreaker as a companion in the form of Constance. That's going to be quite interesting too. So yeah, I think that's quite exciting stuff. And then she's also got a second trilogy coming up next year as well.
Yeah, it's nice that they announced that and say, yeah, again, give the Sixth Doctor and Perry a break. Give some Constance some breathing room, and let Constance have some time to focus on. So yeah, I think that's a good move.
Yeah, I think I like having that there, but also at the same time, I think they should have waited to announce it, because now there could be that whole thing that something could happen to her in the final story of the trilogy, but now we know that doesn't because the new trilogy's been announced.
Oh,
so
I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's taken away a bit of suspense from there, but other than
Yeah,
that,
yeah, I agree with you, because something quite big would have happened in that Shield of Jotun story. But now we know nothing will major happen, something like that, yeah.
It's a bit of a shame, but still, life goes on. And then Vampire of the Mind, I think, is the only other one we haven't mentioned yet, which we've only got a title and a writer for, so we can't.
Yeah, I can't really say anything about it. Title's intriguing, but that's all we really know about it. Do we even know the writer?
Justin Richards.
Oh, yeah, he usually does good. He plays it safe for the most part, but he should do good.
Yeah, quite interested in what that trilogy's about, because apparently it's a special trilogy of some kind, so let's see what that is. It's one of the multi-Doctor ones again, but hopefully it won't be as disappointing as the previous multi-Doctor one.
Locum Doctors.
Yeah. But anyway, I think that's all we've got to say now. Anything you would like to say before we end this video?
Well, thank you very much for having me on. It's great.
Yep, you're welcome, and thank you for coming on. So, yeah, that's all we've got to say. Thank you for watching, everyone, and we'll see you all next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.